Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Hanz Tecson, and I will be your host for today's webinar. By the way, I graduated at De La Salle University, Dasmariñas, with a degree of Bachelor of Elementary Education with area of concentration in special education, and currently working as a grade school teacher and in Elizabeth Seton School. I have been active in various organizations, and one of which is ASEAN Youth Influencer Philippines. Before we begin, if any of you have questions regarding the discussion, don't hesitate to send them to us by entering it in the comment section of whatever social media platform you're watching this on. And I'll be here to cater to them for our guest speaker. Welcome to the live webinar series of ESME.ph, an e-learning marketplace for Filipino professionals where one can develop relevant and in-demand skills through masterclasses in different fields of learning. If you want to learn more about us, feel free to visit our page at www.esme.ph. For those who are watching on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn, feel free to share the link to this stream to people who you think will be interested in today's topic. This webinar is in partnership with the ASEAN Youth Organization, an ASEAN-approved nonprofit organization that spreads awareness of ASEAN to over 200 million young people in Southeast Asia. This webinar is also brought to you by the Rotary Club of Alabang Madrigal Business Park. Our topic for today is about the experiences that our special speaker had gone through in his organization, which is the Solar Hope. He will talk about empowering communities through the solar energy and making a difference regardless of who we are, regardless of our age, background, and profession. This is all going to be about how we, the youths, can empower our own communities by shining our own light at the sky and become the beacons that we can be. Our guest for today is the president and the founder of Solar Hope, a non-government organization that provides solar and sustainable solution to marginalized communities in the Philippines. He graduated in UP Diliman as magna cum laude in BS Electrical Engineering and was awarded the Jose C. Torres for Student Excellence in Electrical Engineering. He is also a climate reality leader, an advocate, and an inspirational speaker. His life mission is to give hope to the lives and houses of the people around us. Ladies and gentlemen, we will be showing you a short video about the organization and advocacy of our guest speaker today.
Corruption, poverty, discrimination, depression. Is there really hope? Can light conquer darkness?
I'm Napao. I'm the president and founder of Solar Hope, and this is the Bajau community in Batangas. They are one of the tribes of the Philippines, and most of them nakatira talaga sa tabi ng dagat. Kadalasan ng mga hanap buhay nila, pangingisda, pagtitinda, at marami pang iba. Galing po ako dito last November along with my other NGO, 180 Degrees Music Team. They are a team who reaches out through music and performing arts. So nung nag-outreach sila dito sa community, sumama po ako. And I saw the need. Hence, Solar Hope was born. Sustainable outreach and lifelong advocacy to rekindle hope, or Solar Hope. It is an initiative and advocacy to provide solar to rural and poorly electrified communities dito po sa Pilipinas. Our aim is to develop sustainable communities by addressing their needs through education, livelihood, health, and habit-generating programs. Ang vision po namin is that someday, lahat ng communities sa Pilipinas is magiging sustainable na. And ang mission namin is to give hope and light to the lives and houses of the community. So we don't just give sustainable solutions, we build relationships with the community for them to know na hindi lang po sila isang project, but they are really a family that we really love and care. How do we achieve sustainable communities? Simple lang po yung goals namin. Our first goal is safety. Usual sa ganitong community yung multiple connections sa isang electric meter. Like here sa community, 17 houses sa isang electric meter. Sobrang prone po nun sa sunog. Lalo na dito sa community, puro nipa halos lahat ng bahay. Our second goal is basic electricity needs. Electrification reduces poverty. And what we do, we provide solar home systems na kasama na yung panel, yung battery, may ilaw, radyo, fan, at charger ng cellphone. And our third goal is savings. Usually, binabayaran po nila dito monthly, halos nasa 6,000. 300 pesos a month sa isang ilaw, 450 pesos sa fan, and sobrang bigat nito for families na wala namang stable income. So we don't just provide electricity, we also provide education, livelihood, and other character development. So with this, we aim to develop sustainable communities. So how will we do it? Phase 1 is site mapping. Basically, knowing anong meron. So we went to the community, we survey, we live with the locals, coordinate with the government officials and community leaders. Phase 2 is planning. Involve lahat doon, yung team, yung partners, and even the community. Phase 3 is deployment of first solar home systems. Part nun is educating the community how to use and maintain the solar home systems. Phase 4 is the progressive deployment of solar home systems along with the other sustainable development programs. But this is just the plan for the first year. Our projection to develop sustainable communities is 5 years with different focus. Year 1, electrification. Year 2, education. Year 3, livelihood. Year 4, governance. And Year 5, beacons of hope. Beacons of hope, basically, how would the community be an inspiration of hope sa iba pang communities? Bakit solar hope? People say ang ganda na intention, ng progress, ng community. But actually, it didn't start well. Solar hope is a fruit of my depression. I was an achiever, sabi nila multi-talented, and so I'm not used to failures. Sanay ako na madali ko lang na ma-manage yung mga bagay. But when I face the real world, hindi pala ganun kadali ang buhay. Failures are part of growing up and maturing. So after I graduated, I faced series of failures that led me to depression. I was in the verge of really giving up everything in life. But 4 months ago, I was given hope and light. So pumunta po ako dito sa Badjao community and ako yung dapat tutulong sa kanila, but it turned out na sila po yung tumulong sa akin. While I was here, unti-unti ko nakilala yung sarili ko, saan ako masaya, ano yung gusto kong gawin, and I believe ito na yung gagawin ko for the rest of my life. Giving hope and light sa mga buhay at bahay ng mga tao. Now, my challenge is this. I was once a candle na muntik na mawalan ng ilaw, pero unting-unting ng liwanag. And right now, I'm challenging people to shine their lights as well and sama-sama nating ilawan ang mga community. I'm Mark, and I am a beacon of hope.
I am a beacon of hope. I am a beacon of hope.
I am a beacon of hope.
I am a beacon of hope.
I am a beacon of hope.
I am a beacon of hope. I am a beacon of hope.
Ko'y ilaw ng pag-asa.
Good afternoon, Sir Mark. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
How are you po?
I'm fine.
Okay
Yes,
po. Okay, we're grateful po to have you in today's webinar, and I know po our viewers are excited to learn and to be inspired po. And I'm very inspired watching your video po. So without further ado, the floor is yours po.
Thank you. Okay. The slide is already shared, right? How will it be? There. So again, good afternoon, everyone. I'm John Mark Napao. I'm the president and founder of Solar Hope. And it's really an honor and a privilege to be invited to share with everyone our journey in the Philippines and in our communities. So my hope is that as I share this, I'll be able to inspire everyone to become a beacon of hope. So my topic for tonight's session is repowering the youth, or where RE means renewable energy. And our aim is that people who are still in the dark would still have access to the light. And also inspiring you that even as youth, we can make a difference. Let me start by asking a simple question. Have you ever wondered, what if you wake up one morning and you realize that you can never use electricity ever again for the rest of your life? Could you live without lights at night, cell phone, internet, or do your work without computer? Could you imagine how difficult life could be without electricity? Well, sadly for some, it's not just what if, it's their reality. And here in our country alone, there's still millions of households who still has no access to energy. So let me share with you a little overview of the electrification journey in the Philippines. So since 1969, only the major cities or urbans has access to energy. But today, as you can see, the yellow lighted areas or regions already have a utility or a co-op serving them. But still, even so, there is still millions of households or thousands of sitios or small communities that are still has no access to energy. And most of these are those in the islands, remote areas, or even rural areas. So, as I have said, there are still around 24,000 sitios unelectrified, and most of these areas are rural areas, farmers, and fishers, which, according to statistics, has the highest poverty indices, meaning they are the poorest of the poor. And there's actually a study that correlates electrification and economic development. So really having access to energy improves the lives of the people. So these figures only shows that our country really needs help and hope. Hence, Solar Hope was born. Solar Hope is an NGO that provides solar and sustainable solutions to marginalized communities here in the Philippines. And our approach has been to adopt marginalized communities and work hand in hand with community champions. Community champions are either community leaders in the community or people of influence or even teachers or people who really want to help their community. So together with these champions, we light homes with solar. Most of them are for lighting and charging of phone. Second is we establish solar hubs, or what we call community cooperatives that utilize the having access to energy. And last is we invite others to support us in this advocacy and become beacons of hope. So this is our journey since 2017. So to date, we have already lighted 219 homes who are now enjoying the benefits of having access to energy. And we have empowered more than 350 beacons of hope. And since 2017, we have adopted 3 marginalized communities. One is a Bajau fishing community in Batangas, another is a Dumagat community in the mountains of Tanay, and another is a Mangyan community in a very remote island in Mindoro. So since 2017, we have been working, profiling and building relationships with this community and trying to figure out with the champions the best solution that they would want for their community. Again, our approach is not that whenever we go to the community, we go there and we present, here's the solution you need. No, no. Our approach is we go there, we learn from them, and together let's figure out the solution that you need. So let me give you a quick tour on each of this community and their challenges. So the first one is the Bajau in Batangas. As you can see in the left side in the map, it's an estuary or a river, or where a river meets the sea. And as you can see in the lower left, there's an island, a submerged island over there. And before, the Bajaus lived there. But due to the strong typhoons and climate change, this area is now submerged in water. Actually, but I think sometimes you could still stand up there. But the locals were now forced to relocate in this area around the Bajau community in daycare, where they are really trying to live in that small parcel of land. So what are their challenges? First is overpopulation and no family planning. I guess the average family in the community is around 8 to 10 individuals. And as you have seen in the video, uh, they have multiple connection, or what we commonly use here as jumper. And the normal is one household into 1 meter. But here in the community, it's 17 households in 1 meter. Just imagine. Actually, that's very hazardous, and they had already experienced lots of arson or fire in the community due to this. Third is many of them still don't know how to read, to count, or to read, to count, and really that also becomes their struggle in finding a livelihood. And so actually Bajaus is commonly known for us that are the people who are always on the streets trying to look for alms. And lastly, they're informal settlers. They don't live in the land. So anytime they always fear that anytime they would be relocated or asked to evacuate the area. And as I've said, it's an estuary. So all the garbages, imagine all the garbages from the top of the river, from the cities, all flows here. And many of the garbages are washed to their area. So if you visit their community, you'll see there are literally garbages all around. So the second community is the Mangyan in Mindoro. And I must say, this is the farthest one. As you can see here, this is Manila, where we are based. And it would take us 3 to 4 hours a bus ride going to Batangas Port. And another 3 to 4 hours big boat going to Abra de Ilog or Mindoro. And then another 3 to 4 hours small boat ride going to the community here. And in this community, we're currently helping 4 unelectrified sitios. So just imagine the struggle of going there. It always took us 1 day just to get to the community. Unlike the Bajau, which is a fishing community, Mangyan community is a farming community. And the challenges is obviously the remoteness and accessibility. Second is little to no access to electricity. It's off-grid, and most of the households are just using batteries or kerosene lamps. Other are using candles. And since it's isolated, there's no near health facility available to them. And only a handful has the opportunity to go to high school or even college. And it's even a struggle for us to support the scholars currently, now that this pandemic. Another challenge is source of income. Since it's farming, it is seasonal. And last community that we have adopted is the Dumagat in Tanay. And unlike the Bajau, which is coastal, and the Mangyan that is an island, this one is a mountainous area. And as you can see in the map, the one here, this is the bridge, and all the households from the right are still connected to the grid, but many of them are still in jumper, similar to Bajau. But households from the left of the bridge up to this community over here, it's unelectrified, and they're only using batteries and kerosene lamps as well. And as you can see, there's a blue line here. This is whenever we go to this community over here, we usually trek almost 1 to 2 hours just to get there. So there. So these are their challenges. Obviously, mountainous, accessibility-wise, especially now that we're heavily stricken with typhoons. The road there, actually, there's no road there. It's very muddy, and it's hard to go there. Uh, Same with Bindoro. They only use batteries and kerosene lamps. They also have a challenge with regards to water. People especially on the people here in the upper side of the mountain, they need to go down to the river or to the area, deep well, where they need to be there first because it would be depleted. Another challenge is that the classrooms are very limited. There are only 4 classrooms from kinder to grade 6, and there's no signal in the community. And it's a challenge, especially now in the Philippines, because our education right now, especially in this type of communities, are what we call distance learning, or where they only use modules to further education. So it's a challenge for the teachers to bring the modules or retrieve the modules, especially in the upper side of the mountain. And lastly is a stable source of income. Communities here their livelihood are sawali making or a weaving material made of bamboo. Actually, this house you could see here, this is what they call a sawali. So it's usually used in their nipas or structures. So there. So that's a quick tour on the communities we're currently helping and we have adopted. And as I have said, it's really a journey with them. Since we've started going to the community up to now, we're still continually learning the culture of the community, their challenges, and how best we could help them. And as I have said, in order to build a relationship with the community, we don't only do electrification, we also do all sorts of outreaches that we could think of. Sometimes we do cleanup drives, sometimes we do feeding program, we even do concerts just to connect with the community. But all this in order to engage with the community. And I must say, majority of the volunteers we have, I guess more than 80% of it, are from the youth. People that are young professionals, students, or young adults. So I myself am a believer. I myself am a believer of the youth, and I myself am still a youth. So here's just some pictures of the outreaches we do in Bajau. As you can see in the upper right, this is what I'm telling, that the garbages are really in the community, wash away from the higher part of the river. Here is a cleanup drive. We also do feeding programs. We train them how to do DIY solar and many more. Here is outreaches in Banyan. So we gave solar. We played games, local games. We also conducted health seminar, relief, groceries, etc. And lastly, for the Tanay, we also provided solar. We helped the school. We also do solar DIY training, and we even brought a marching band. So imagine there's a parade last 2018, I guess. So we do all sorts of strategies just to connect and build relationship with the community. Yeah, but I have said it's only our way to connect, but our main advocacy is electrification. So I want to share a journey of how we electrified our community in Tanay. So the community has been unelectrified, and it's a home to around 200 families who are only using car batteries or kerosene lamps for their lighting. And as you can see in their households, only one light is enough to light the whole house. And in 2018, we were connected or introduced to the community through the principal of the local school through a Facebook message. Imagine what Facebook could do. So she sent me a message if we could visit their community and maybe help them in terms of electrification. So right away we went there, and since 2018 we've been going back and forth there, uh, doing community profiling, mapping, and community engagement. And fortunately, last year we were able to provide our first batch of electrification under Project Tanglao. And what we did was we prioritized the community in the mountain, the ones that we need to trek first in order to get there. So we provided solar lanterns there in all the households there. And I must say this is a very memorable one, and very I can't explain it. I can't explain the feeling, but it's really full of joy because the community literally cried, because for them this is the first time that they have seen light in their community, and the community were really again and again telling me that they're very grateful for being one of the beneficiaries of this. Now the community is now able to use it, even though it's pandemic, uh, for their education, and even trekking in the mountain. They could now have light. So there. But this 2020, I know everyone is really facing a very great challenge because of the pandemic. And even these communities are having a hard time to cope with these challenges, especially in the new mode of education here in the Philippines. So the distance learning. So, but this didn't hinder us from helping and continually reaching out to these communities. So we, with the help of our partner, Ateco, and the local school, Rawang Elementary School, we implemented Project Tanglao Batch 2 with the goal of providing 150 solar home systems to the community in Tanay. So, of course, we still observe proper health protocols and restrictions. So, let me share with you what our strategy, what we did to observe these protocols. So first, what we did is we identified the beneficiaries. So we GPS tag each household to know where it is in the map. And then we surveyed each of this household to validate if they are really using only batteries or kerosene lamps. And next, we consulted the community regarding the project. If they're approved on it, well, of course, they're really approved on it. And then we started training 10 locals, and or what we call them community solar champions, who would do the installation in the community. So after we provided the training, what we did was we awarded the solar home systems by batch. And then after we awarded it, or after we delivered it to the community solar champions installed it. So actually, I could remember when we were planning this, our projection is every 2 weeks we will go there to deliver. But we're all shocked and amazed because when we awarded for the first batch, they were able to install it in 2 days. So the community was very passionate, very eager, and very excited to install this to their fellow community. So I guess in a span of 1 month, we're able to have 5 batches of delivery. I guess 30 solar home systems each delivery. And today, we have successfully installed all the 150 solar home systems in their place. And there are now already 150 families enjoying the benefits of having access to energy. Even though they're wearing face masks, I'm sure we could all see the smile in their faces. And actually, every time I go there, I hear them telling me they're very grateful, and it's very helpful to them. And all the hard work, all the tire and the sleepless nights is worth it, has paid off. Every lighted home is a beacon of hope. We usually remind the beneficiaries or the community every time we give these solar kits is that the reason why we're giving this is not only for them to have light, but for them that whenever opportunity comes, that they too would be a beacon of hope to their fellow community. So what's next for Solar Hope? So here's our 1-year plan under Liwanag 2021. So we are done with batch 2. And for the next batches, we plan to light 100 homes in Bajau this first quarter. And then we plan to light 100 more for the Mangyan community for batch 4 and 5. Under Lights One Home, Light One's Home, Light One's Life initiative. There. So, of course, we can't do this alone. We need your support. And we know that many people would want to become a beacon of hope. So if you want to be one, here are ways to start your journey. First, you could lend us a hand. You could share with us whatever skills, talents, expertise, or you could even join us in going to the community or doing the outreach. That would be of the very big help. Second, you could donate or sponsor a kit, sponsor an outreach or even a community. And that would be sponsoring a kit would be able to give a household 3 lights and self charging for their phone. And lastly, you could connect with us and maybe we could explore possible partnership or know others that would be interested to connect with us to help us in this initiative. You could also visit our page at fbe.com, Solar Hope Movement, or send us an email at info@solarhope.org.ph. So before I end, let me share the reason behind the mission. As I have said, many people are somehow very telling us that it's very inspiring, it's very good, and it has very high potential. But actually, Solar Hope is a fruit of my depression. Back in 2017, I was clinically diagnosed with depression and was in the verge of really giving up everything in life. But when I joined an outreach in the Bajau community in Batangas, it was really a turning point. When I immersed in the community, I realized how privileged I am that I have a work. I'm able to eat food sometimes 5 times a day. I have a family. I have people who are really sharing their love to me. But still, I'm being ungrateful. But when I went to the community, I saw their situation, their fear of being, they don't have their own home. Sometimes they have nothing to eat. They don't have work. Yet they're very grateful and they're always smiling and as if they just go with the flow of life and go on and continue. So after that experience, really, it changed my life. And I said to myself, there's still something I could do. So as an electrical engineer, the first thing I noticed is the status of their electrification. So in 2017, I started Solar Hope, and I told myself I will go back to this community and help them. And I started inviting others to help me. And to my amazement, up to now, I don't know where people are coming from. The support are coming literally anywhere, everywhere, and people are really passionate in helping, in joining me in this initiative. So I guess I believe this is something that I'll be doing for the rest of my life, giving hope and light to the lives and homes of people. And of course, I'm not alone in this journey. I have this very wonderful, passionate people along with me, and they're mostly young professionals as well and youth. Some are even students, and we're a mix of teachers, engineers, students from different backgrounds, really. But we're united because of one purpose, and that's to light communities, to change lives, and to give hope. So I want to end with this quote, quoting myself. Life is not a race that you have to hurry. Life is not a game that you have to compete. Life is not a garbage that you have to throw away. But life is a gift that we must be grateful, enjoy, and explore, because you'll never know when will be your last day. So enjoy life and make the most of what you can do today. I believe that as youth, we can do so much. Always remember that any small act together we could make a big difference. And I don't believe that we're only that youth are only a leaders of tomorrow. I believe that youth are the leaders of today. So together, let us become beacons of hope. Thank you. I guess that's my last slide.
I mean, after you speak of your advocacy, and I know our viewers too. Okay. Again, for our viewers, if any of you have questions regarding the discussion, don't hesitate to send them by entering it in the comment section below of whatever social media platform you're watching this on. And I'll be here to cater them for our guest speaker. Okay. Sir Mark, thank you again for that wonderful presentation, and
Thank
we
you.
have questions for you po. Okay. Our first question po, with the recent Typhoon Ulysses po, being the topic of concern of this month, what can solar panels contribute in order to make a difference with regard to the rehabilitation of those who are affected by the environmental disaster?
Yeah, that's a very timely question. And I believe there are still ongoing relief operations right
Yes
now.
po.
Regarding what could solar do in these times of calamities, I believe it would be a very great help, especially that whenever typhoons come, the first that turns off are the grid, because we need to secure the grid first, because if it's broken, it would be a bigger problem. So the grid usually turn off, and that's the reason why many households or communities are offline or doesn't have electricity. So solar, meaning they are not connected to the grid, they will be able to have light or use light even without electricity, and even after the storm, because electricity won't come back immediately. Maybe it would, especially for rural areas, it would last for weeks or more
Weeks.
than weeks. So with solar, they would still have access to light, at least light or radio, especially radio, because they need to be updated on initiatives or rescue operations. So yeah, I guess, and also it could easily be unmounted. So if there's a coming typhoon, I guess most of the communities, like the communities we're helping, they unmounted the solar when the typhoon hit, and when it subsided, they brought it back. So still they could have access to energy even so.
So solar panel is very helpful po talaga no after the like the environmental disaster like the Typhoon Ulysses no. Okay po. Second question po, as someone with a degree in electrical engineering in one of the most prestigious universities in the Philippines, where do your inspiration come from in order to keep your ideas as concrete as it is executed?
Yeah, thank you. Well, actually, I don't share this to most of my talks, but this is actually rooted from my undergrad thesis. My research when I was still in UP was uh, comparing which is a more viable solution, if providing a solar to a community or extending the grid. So really, since then, I guess back in 2015 or 2016 up to now, rural electrification or missionary electrification has been my field of interest. So even though I'm working now, or even in my free time, I take time to really get updated on the current status or strategies and best practices on this.
Okay po. Thank you po. Like what you have said a while ago about the solar panel. I know that there are also problems na may encounter po natin about that. And like this question po, considering the budget that should be allotted for installation of solar panels po, how can these sources of energy can be more sustainable than the actual electrical power for those marginalized communities?
Yeah, that's a very wonderful question, because interestingly, I guess many countries around the world are already on the last mile, meaning most of the areas already electrified. And rural areas, remote ones, islands, or off-grid communities are those doesn't have. And interestingly, these communities that doesn't have has low income or below the poverty line. So they couldn't afford buying a whole package of that kit. But interestingly, there has been many best practices right now that made it more affordable to these communities. One example is the lease to own scheme, or Easy Pay Go Tech, meaning like the ones we're giving right now. It's like a prepaid. When they buy the community, there's no when they buy the kit, there's no upfront cost, but they need to pay it regularly on a more affordable amount, maybe for 1 year or 6 months. And once they have paid it in full, it's free. They'll be able to use
Free.
it. Another approach is in the government. They provide subsidies in these communities, so they'll be able to provide to have financial assistance. Also, loan scheme, leasing scheme.
Leasing scheme. Oh. And aside from renewable energy from for the masses, in what other ways po can Solar Hope contribute to the welfare of communities affected by calamities such as the recent typhoon po?
Yeah, actually now what we're doing, because we're also limited in terms of logistics because of the pandemic. What I love about working in this field of NGO is that it's really a collaboration. It's not a competition. So what we do is we support initiatives or our fellow partners in terms of reaching out to these communities. Like for example, we have partners working in Cagayan, in Bicol, and what we do is we connect people who are looking for help or to help to these partners that are already in the field. And in terms of us in Solar Hope, what we do is we focus on our adopted communities.
So parang you're the one po connecting them sa mga kilala niyo pong partners sa pwedeng tumulong.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay po. So I think this is our last question po. The country has been competing in the market to have the same kind of technological advancement of other neighboring countries. Businesses are also being put up in many areas, be it rural or urban. In your opinion po, is the Philippines ready for the ideas that Solar Hope envisions for its organization?
Yeah, actually, we're not the only energy organization that is booming right now. I've since this pandemic, I get to know many, as in many. We get connected to many energy organizations, and it's very surprising what they're doing as well, and how the communities, how the country is responding to their initiatives. And also, solar technology is getting cheaper and cheaper throughout the years. The trend is, and it's the most cheapest source of energy currently. So I believe in the coming years, it would be more affordable and more trend in the market, especially rooftop solar.
Thank you for that. Thank you, Sir Mark, for enlightening us about your advocacy and also about solar panels. I know our viewers gathered a lot of information about that. So, for everyone po who attended this webinar, all of you can get a digital certificate of your attendance. For sure, you want to get yours. So, if so, just head on to our website at www.esme.ph or click the link that we posted in the comment section below. Make your own account and navigate to the title of the webinar that you joined in today. Okay. Again, Sir Mark, we're very grateful to have you in this webinar po. We're very inspired about your advocacy and thank you for enlightening us about the solar panels. I know it's very helpful right now in our country. Sa dami po ng padating pang mga disaster, but we're hoping na hindi na po. And then if you want to promote something po about your organization po, you can share it po to our viewers po.
Yeah, thank you for that opportunity. Actually, yun nga, I have presented a while ago what's next for Solar Hope. We have this Liwanag 2021 wherein we aim to provide more homes with light and become chance to become a beacons of hope. So we might need sponsors, partners, or even people in the field in helping us reaching out to these communities. And lastly, I want to promote this. Would I be the one to share this, or do you have the slide?
This one.
Okay.
It's already in the screen po.
Yeah. So we invite everyone to try to answer this survey. It's a global youth energy outlook, especially targeting the youth. And its aim is to hear the voice of all the youth, especially in terms of climate change and the energy outlook for 2030. So I guess they will provide the link below. So if you have time, please. This would also help the future generation still enjoy what we're enjoying right now. So I guess that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Sir Mark. Thank you po. We're very grateful po to have you po. Before this webinar comes to a close, I would like to invite everyone who wants to learn more and increase their knowledge and skills. Just visit our website at www.esme.ph. We offer a wide range of master classes courses, those of which you can enroll in based on whatever is relevant to your passion, career, and interest. Again, we would like to thank our partners for making this webinar possible, ASEAN Youth Organization and Rotary Club of Alabang Madrigal Business Park. And that concludes our webinar for today. Our deepest gratitude goes to our viewers. Please keep safe and we'll see you on our next webinar. Thank you, everyone.